Recently, Linus TechTips has gotten into drama after he posted a video on his YouTube page showing off his new private jet.
And this week has probably been the worst one ever for Linus Sebastian and Linus Media Group.
On June 17th of this year, myself and Andy were fired by Linus TechTips, a channel.
Ultimately, LMG made the choice to not accept nor counter the amount I asked for.
I want to stand on my own.
So why didn't that happen? Gamers Nexus is what happened. The amount of damage his videos did to the channel cannot be overstated.
When you are at the peak of your powers, it can be a long way to fall. And right now, it is a reality that Linus Sebastian is struggling to wrap his head around. Once seen as the most trusted name in tech media, Linus had the ear of an entire generation of PC builders. In tech YouTube, his word was law.
When I started out, there was no sponsor integrations.
Backed by endless sponsorships, a sprawling media company, and a fiercely loyal audience, Linus became tech YouTube's gold standard. Other creators deferred to him. But those days are over. And rather than others in the online world looking up to him, he is pretty much getting persistently flamed as his empire starts to crack.
Now, the thing is with Linus is they're a big company now. They're not like one guy making a YouTube channel. That's not Linus. They're like tons of employees. It's like a big enterprise. Yeah, so like when you're making that many videos, you're gonna have inaccuracies. Okay, Caleb, all right, let's. I'm gonna do the problem with Oompaville
not
next
me, to be honest.
And now, the man who previously suggested that he had built something different, something better, is conceding that maybe the empire he built isn't as solid as he once thought. This is the decline of Linus TechTips. Linus grew up in British Columbia, obsessed with computers. While other kids studied for exams, he studied motherboards. Despite getting into the University of British Columbia, Linus dropped out, choosing computers over the classroom and tech retail over a degree.
Oh, for me, I've loved tech for as long as I can remember.
Oh, really?
I mean, one of my first memories is of my aunt telling me that my birthday present when I couldn't have been much older than 7 or 8, was that they upgraded our family computer.
Linus got a job at NCIX, a Canadian online computer store, where he quickly climbed from sales to category manager. He became one of NCIX's top salesmen, earning a spot at head office. But his real talent wasn't selling hardware, it was explaining it. So NCIX handed him a camera and told him to compete with Newegg and Tiger Direct. Now, corporate YouTube channels in 2007 were slow, expensive, and creatively restricted by the brand above them. So Linus saw limited creative freedom at NCIX, and the channel struggled to grow the way he believed it could. He had two choices: stay safe or bet everything on himself. Linus bet on himself. He bought the channel for $1.
So the deal I ended up striking was I bought the Linus TechTips YouTube channel for $1.
Moved into a garage and launched Linus Media Group in 2013. Linus successfully built the channel into one of the biggest tech brands on YouTube, growing to over 15 million subscribers across multiple channels, covering everything from GPU reviews to lifestyle tech. After convincing his wife, Yvonne, to leave her pharmacy career and join the company as CFO, the operation grew fast. In interviews, Linus insisted he wasn't chasing views, he was chasing scale. He believed momentum was survival. Slow down and the audience might leave. So he floored the accelerator to build momentum and never stopped to install brakes or a steering wheel. But the faster the company moved, the easier it became for mistakes to slip through unnoticed. Linus acknowledged that the operation wasn't just one guy with a camera anymore.
Unlike most creators that I meet, I was never a one-man show. Not even for one day. I always had someone operating a camera, operating a timeline, usually both.
It takes real management structure to maintain standard across 80 employees and a dozen uploads a week. Think about what producing a single LTT video actually involves. Writers, camera operators, editors, thumbnail artists, technicians, quality assurance. Now multiply that across a dozen uploads every week. That is factory level output. And factory level output requires factory level systems. The engine was becoming more powerful. The controls weren't. The uploads scaled faster than the systems behind them. Deadlines got tighter, standards got looser, and eventually, speed stopped being LTT's greatest strength. It became its biggest weakness. However, for a long time, it was working, and the empire Linus built was about to reach its absolute peak. The channel made Linus famous, but Linus Media Group made him impossible to ignore. Within a year of incorporating, TubeFilter named LTT among the top 1% of Google's preferred YouTube advertising channels, alongside tech giants with far deeper pockets. His content seemed meticulously engineered for audience retention, thanks in part to his team of talented editors, writers, and on-camera presenters. At the same time, it still felt scrappy and authentic. The channel earned Linus widespread recognition across the industry, including partnerships with Microsoft, Samsung, and GoPro. Linus TechTips did not just top the algorithm, it became the manual for an entire generation of PC builders. His videos spread through Reddit threads, Discord servers, and hardware forums like Reference Material. Ask almost any PC question and someone will answer with the same thing, an LTT link. Soon, Linus was recognizable as the orange logo. New channels followed, then the forum, the podcast, the merchandise store. LMG was no longer a YouTube channel, it was a media empire. All of it made Linus a symbol of what an independent creator could become. By the early 2020s, Linus had become proof that a solo creator could rival legacy tech media by being faster, cheaper, and more relatable. Back then, creator credibility didn't require institutional backing or editorial oversight. Being enthusiastic, knowledgeable, and consistent with uploads was enough. By today's standards, the model looks fragile. Millions of viewers demand more than personality. They expect process. LTT Labs was built to provide that. In many ways, it worked, signaling that Linus understood the channel needed more than personality to survive long term. The lab division was designed to produce methodology-driven hardware benchmarks separate from the main channel's editorial content. These results weren't just data points, they were meant to be the credibility backbone of everything LTT published. Other initiatives like the LTT store and Floatplane still delivered on audience expectations. These weren't just side projects, these were revenue pillars, helping him launch his next big venture. LTX Expo, a live consumer tech event that sold tickets ranging from $35 all the way to $10,000 for VIP package, with hundreds of booths and thousands of attendees filling the Vancouver Convention Center. Just 10 years after starting in a garage, someone offered to buy the entire empire for $100 million.
We did have a substantial offer recently to sell out, and I might as well speak plainly. The offer was $100 million.
He turned it down publicly, saying the money wouldn't meaningfully change his family's life, cementing his image as someone who genuinely cared about the work more than the exit. The brand was untouchable. At the time, nobody could have imagined Tech YouTube without Linus TechTips. Beneath the success, the machine was already under pressure. Every upload raised the clock. Linus no longer wanted to be seen as another YouTuber. He wanted LTT to stand beside real newsrooms. The problem? Personality earns an audience, process earns trust. And as social media made peer scrutiny more powerful, creators can't control their narratives as much anymore. If your process doesn't match your promise, someone will expose it and the damage may be impossible to undo. Every business has a teenage phase, that awkward space between scrappy startup and real institution. That is where LMG found itself, and it is where the biggest structural mistakes get made. Linus wasn't building a YouTube channel anymore. He was building an institution. Institutions aren't judged by ambition, they are judged by standards. He stepped down as CEO, made multiple public statements about refusing on quality over quantity.
Effective July 1st, 2023, after 10 wild and very eventful years, I will be stepping down as CEO of Linus Media Group, Creator Warehouse, and Flowplane Media.
And encourage his audience to trust that the operation was maturing into something more serious. Unsurprisingly, the content began leaning into a more professional, institutional identity. LTT stopped asking viewers to trust Linus. Now it asks them to trust the process.
How many of you have seen a review of a component from LTT? You know, like a graphics card or a CPU? Folks, yeah? This is where it happens. The difference between us and somebody like Gamers Nexus or Hardware Unbox is we test new components, new tests every time. Every project that we do has new data.
Labs, benchmarks, methodology. Personality was no longer the product. Credibility was. It was an awkward transformation. LTT was built on chaos, curiosity, and personality. Now it wanted to look like a research lab. People came for the guy excited about new hardware, not the company publishing benchmarks methodology. Linus struggled to present the channel as editorially serious to his broader audience without seeming out of touch with what made it popular.
There's a lot of people kind of seeing what they want to see. Yeah. And in the same way, as we've gotten close to the deadline, I've actually seen a lot of people talking about how they're noticing like a difference in me, like maybe I'm nervous about it or something.
Especially considering the upload pace and some of the shallower sponsored content were still very much present.
Guys, not only are you operating with a significant tape delay between when I film a video and when you guys are seeing it, but you're operating with a super inconsistent tape delay.
But the identity crisis was truly realized when Gamers Nexus posted their video.
The first clip from an LTT lab tour caught our attention, but it itself isn't worth commenting on. We have something wider in scope we want to comment on. And
for years, Linus was the anti-corporate tech guy. No polish, no pretense, just a guy who loved computers. Then Gamers Nexus held their image against LTT's internal processes.
It's simply that we believe LTT or LMG is rushing too much to hit arbitrary and largely self-imposed deadlines that are causing frequent and sometimes significant data errors and information errors.
Suddenly, the gap was impossible to ignore. And this was not a small creator taking a swing. Gamers Nexus was a respected, deeply technical outlet, and the criticism landed hard.
Linus hastily posted a statement about 3.5 hours after our video went live. The video raised concerns again about an incredibly large amount of testing inaccuracy issues, alongside what we believe to be unethical actions and just issues with responsibility as a large outlet in general. Linus's statement, it is an unhinged, unapologetic rant where he shirks responsibility.
Linus had no winning move. Fight back, and he looked defensive. Agreed too quickly, and he validated the criticism. Either way, he no longer controlled the story. Because, well, the best version of LTT didn't exactly run on Linus alone. A significant amount of that credibility belonged to the people behind the camera, particularly Madison Reeve, whose allegations about the workplace culture behind the scenes will make everything significantly worse. LTT's greatest asset was never just Linus. It was the people behind the camera. Every tweet, every forum post, every interaction made a company feel less like a brand and more like people. The cracks widened when former LTT social media manager Madison Reeve went public, saying the job was, in her words, ruining her mental health. Reeve alleged she was expected to handle a crushing workload while being told not to complain because her job was the fun job. Madison alleged she was called incompetent, dismissed when she asked for help, and inappropriately grabbed by co-workers. Then she published her story. The floodgates opened. Millions knew the face of LTT. Almost nobody knew what it was like to work there. Madison's allegations brought those two worlds together. Overnight, the conversation shifted from what LTT made to how it operated. LMG hired Vancouver law firm Rupert Graham to conduct an independent investigation into Reeves' allegation of bullying, sexism, and sexual harassment. The company compromised to publish the findings and act on any recommendation. The investigation drew intense scrutiny as fans, fellow creators, and media outlets waited to see whether it will vindicate or condemn the company. The investigation largely cleared the company of Reeves' allegation, but by then, the internet had already made up its mind. Any creator defending LTT became a target. Linus tried to let the investigation speak for itself, but in the middle of the controversy, he also had to address the Gamer Nexus video directly.
Hey everyone. Before we start our pre-WAN show topic today, I'd like to acknowledge a couple folks. I'd like to acknowledge our team who works so hard to deliver outstanding content to our community. And second, I'd like to acknowledge our community. No one's perfect. Yes, even us. And for as long as Linus Media Group has existed, you guys have been there to help us. You've held us accountable when we've gone astray, and you've also supported us when an attack against us is unfair, and it's time for someone else to be held accountable. Earlier this week, Gamers Nexus took us out of context again, and I can't keep ignoring this sort of thing.
In LTT's official response video, Linus explicitly acknowledged the errors, apologized for the Billet Lab situation.
I want to apologize to Billet Labs for auctioning off their monoblock at LTX 2023. Our processes failed when I was selecting items to include in the charity auction, but then it was compounded because when the issue was brought up to me via email, even though I replied 2 hours later apologizing and offering to pay for the component, I forgot to actually include our contact in that email. So it went to our procurement team instead of Billet Labs.
And committed to structural changes, including new editorial review processes and a dedicated testing methodology. He admitted he was trying to steer an 80-person company through two crises at once.
Everyone had ample warning that we were doing this today, so you're gonna see two things. Why a YouTuber could possibly need nearly 100 people on staff, and some Oscar-worthy performances in the category of looking busy while my boss is standing over me watching.
People were generally very angry at me. The community felt let down. He said he understood why trust had eroded and that he accepted responsibility for the culture that allowed these problems to develop.
There's like a major, part of the tech community that is just completely tuned out at this point. We can never reach them again. Way.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
I was the one at the head of the company for each and every mistake that our community has rightly brought to our attention. And once again, I made things worse by allowing myself to respond emotionally.
Linus hoped the apology will close the story. Instead, it's changed it. This wasn't about one controversy anymore. It was about whether the company behind the camera matched the brand in front of it. As if it couldn't get any worse for him, the channel then suffered an incident that many saw as a symptom of exactly how exposed the operation had become. In March 2023, scammers hijacked the Linus TechTips channel and turned it into a crypto scam.
Our work started a little after 3 in the morning when the Linus TechTips account was renamed to Tesla and started streaming a podcast-style recording of self-proclaimed techno king Elon Musk discussing cryptocurrency. This in and of itself is not a scam, but the streams linked to a scam website that claimed that for every 1 Bitcoin you sent, they would return double, complete with fake transaction records showing other users definitely getting huge payouts.
For years, every problem had been solved with another upload. This one couldn't be. Attackers took over the channel, erased its videos, and filled it with deepfake Elon Musk crypto scams. The exact scams LTT had spent years teaching viewers to avoid. Behind the scenes, LMG scrambled to take it back. The channel came back, the questions persisted. How does a tech company with 80 employees lose its own channel to a phishing attack? Think of it like a state-of-the-art bank vault. Retina scanners, reinforced steel, every lock imaginable. None of it matters if one rushed employee hands over the key to the wrong person just to clear the queue. The attackers didn't break LTT's system. They found a person too overburdened to notice. For many viewers, it wasn't just embarrassing, it was symbolic. However, LMG recovered the channel relatively quickly, stating that they identified the breach and were implementing stronger security measures.
Bottom line is that our disaster response processes need to improve, because I realized at 3 whatever in the morning, shout out Steve from Gamers Nexus for the wake up call by the way, that I actually didn't know how to reset the passwords and the access control across all of these channels in Channel Manager. And that is not the sort of thing that you want to be troubleshooting butt naked in the wee hours of the morning in the middle of a crisis. In fairness to me, the way that Google handles the intermingling of all their services is not the most intuitive, and both Yvonne and I experienced numerous glitches and timeouts that prevented us from effectively using these tools, even once we did figure out how to use them.
There was a significant amount of criticism, and many people noted that if this had happened to a smaller creator, YouTube would have been far slower to respond. On its own, the hack was bad luck. After everything that came before it, it looked like evidence. Every new mistake reinforced the last. Even long-term fans began to wonder if the channel had outgrown the systems holding it together. But it was just going to keep getting worse for Linus. The goodwill that had protected LTTs for years was gone. Linus paused uploads, launched an internal review, and stepped back from day-to-day operations. For the first time, fixing the process mattered more than feeding the algorithm. After the channel's upload pause was described as overdue and necessary, Linus seemingly pulled back from the public-facing chaos, focusing on fewer videos and remaining more measured in ease on camera presence. And with the mid-2020s producing a wave of sharper, more rigorous tech channels to choose from, such as Gamers Nexus, Hardware Unbox, Digital Foundry, Dave2D, Marcus Brandley, and dozens of well-funded independent reviewers, tech audiences just don't need LTT the way they once did. And while it might have stung to take those hits after the pause, Linus would have still been considered an undisputed pioneer of tech YouTube. But instead of reinventing LTT, Linus fell back on the instinct that built it. More videos, the uploads kept coming, the store kept selling, labs kept publishing, the machine never stopped. The question was whether people still believed in it. After the pause, Linus promised a reset. Fewer mistakes, better reviews, a return to the quality that built LTT in the first place. Just as LTT's comeback began to take shape, Gamers Nexus published another critic, this time over plagiarism.
We filmed the vast majority of this episode a couple days ago, but Linus Media Group, well, specifically Linus himself, has posted a response to our video, and it's not well thought out. It's pretty disappointing, honestly. So
it wasn't the biggest controversy LTT had faced, but it reinforced the same question: had anything really changed? Plagiarism Today, an outlet covering intellectual property issues, provided important context, noting it was one instance at a large company and not evidence of a system problem. Gamers Nexus argued the plagiarism wasn't the story. The story was a company chasing the credibility of a newsroom without consistently meeting newsroom standards. To critics, it felt familiar. The plagiarism allegations did not go viral the way the 2023 controversy did, but it was damaging enough that critics speculated whether LTT had genuinely reformed or simply waited for the noise to die down. Then came the private plane. Linus saw a business tool. Many viewers saw something else entirely.
So the April Fool's wasn't a joke? We actually bought a jet?
What started as a meme on WAN show, when I discovered that a jet-propelled aircraft is not as expensive as I initially thought, I'm serious.
Okay.
Even Luke was shocked.
Former employees were still publicly discussing workload and compensation. In that moment, the plane wasn't just transportation. It became a symbol. Whatever Linus intended, the optics spoke louder. And as if Linus' public standing couldn't get any more complicated, Gamers Nexus then announced they were filing a lawsuit against PayPal over the Oni browser extension scandal, which had nothing to do with LTT directly, but drew massive renewed attention to Gamers Nexus as a credible watchdog outlet.
We're suing PayPal and Honey. Gamers Nexus is the lead plaintiff in a class action complaint filed against PayPal and its property, Honey. The putative class action is already filed, and we're suing PayPal and Honey for 3 things. 1, conversion. 2 is tortious interference with contract. And 3 is unfair and deceptive trade practices.
As Gamers Nexus gained credibility, comparisons between the two channels became unavoidable. One was building credibility by scrutinizing the industry. The other was still trying to rebuild credibility after becoming the story. More than a decade later, Linus isn't just a creator. He has been a founder, a CEO, an executive, an industry veteran. But none of those titles connect like the guy who simply loved talking about computers. After so many reinventions, LTT feels harder to define. The biggest name in tech YouTube is still one of its biggest advantages, but it can't be the only one forever. But controversies after controversy, LTT's reputation keeps taking hit, and Linus has figured out a way to stay in the news cycle consistently for the wrong reasons in the past few years. He has become the kind of creator that a vocal portion of the tech community just loves to scrutinize. And for a channel built entirely on trust, this is the kind of trap that is nearly impossible to escape. This was never about one review, one investigation, or one controversy. It was about a company that grew faster than the systems holding it together. For years, speed built the empire. Eventually, it started pulling it apart. Nobody seems quite sure what Linus TechTips is anymore. And the more interesting part about all of this is that if the content was consistently great, most people will not care about all of the drama. Unfortunately, the channel seems to have lost the thing that made it special. That feeling of one obsessive guy showing you something genuinely cool. And with sharper, more rigorous tech channels dominating the space today, it is hard to see what unique value Linus TechTips bring to tech media in 2026. The audience didn't leave Linus. He gave them a reason to look elsewhere.